Race 5 of the 2022 NTT IndyCar Series season is the GMR Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, kicking off the month of May at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, leading up to the 106th Indianapolis 500. Will Power would secure pole position for the race, increasing his stat to tying Mario Andretti for all-time pole winners. Officials would declare the race a wet race as a rainstorm passed through before the race started. The start of the race was sketchy, but everyone managed to keep it relatively on track. Will Power, who started on pole, fell back to fourth, while the McLaren drivers Pato O'Ward and Felix Rosenqvist would move their way up to the top two. On lap 2, we would see Colton Herta go early onto dry, softer compound tires. Later, we would see Colton Herta on those dry tires would make an incredible save as his car just threw the S's. Everyone else would follow suit and go on to dry tires as well. The desired tire is the softer compound. Alex Palou would get loose and spin out into the grass. He would manage to get his car back on track, but would stall, bringing out a caution period. Another caution period would come out for Joseph Newgarden as he got spun out by Jack Harvey, fouling on track, and would be unable to make it back to the pits due to both rear tires being flapped. On the restart on lap 21, Rinus VeeKay would go off track, and as he would try to get back onto the circuit, he would spin and get hit by Delvin DeFrancesco, which once again brings out another caution. There would be plenty more incidences in this race, which I'm not going to go through it all, so be sure to check out highlights of this race on the official IndyCar YouTube page or on Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. Halfway through the race, we would see rain and heavy winds return as the field was coming to a restart on lap 41. Most of the drivers would stay on the dry, soft tires, and some would go on wet tires. It was raining on parts of the track, but it wasn't being saturated with water. Therefore, the drivers who went on those wet tires would find themselves going back to the dry tires as the track did not get wet enough and those wet tires would be destroyed. Then later on, the rain would get heavier, but there were still parts of the track like the backstretch that would still be relatively dry. There they debated on whether to go to rain tires or stay on dry tires. The field we see would mostly stay on those dry tires. Then more rain would come. After another caution, the majority of the field would go to rain wet weather tires. There would be only 3 drivers, Scott McLaughlin, Pato O'Ward, and Romain Grosjean, that would gamble and stay on the dry tires. With the numerous caution periods in this race, officials changed this race to a timed race. With 14 minutes left in the race, they would restart. Herta would retake the lead, and O'Ward did an amazing job to keep the car under him on the dry, soft tires on a very wet track. Then we see McLaughlin spin out, bringing out another caution period. Before that final restart, we see Pato O'Ward bail on the dry tires and go into pits for rain tires. Colton Herta would extend his lead after the final restart. An accident with Juan Pablo Montoya would bring out the final caution period with 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the race, thus ending the race under caution, giving the win of the GMR Grand Prix to Colton Herta. This is a well-deserving win for Colton Herta. This race really showed off Herta's talents. Completing the podium would be Simon Pagenaud in second, and Will Power finishing third. Colton Herta's win breaks the 4-race winning streak of Chevrolet, as Colton Herta has a Honda-powered car. A lot of the drivers in the top of the championship points before the GMR Grand Prix had a lot of issues. This race result really mixed up the championship standings, and here they are. Will Power is first in the championship standings with 170 points. Second would be Alex Palou with 156 points, and third would be Scott McLaughlin with 152 points. With Joseph Newgarden's poor finish, it moves him down to fourth, and Colton Herta's win moves him into the top 10 in the championship in sixth. There will be a lot to learn for IndyCar in this race, as the majority of the field complained about poor visibility in the cars. It was a very wild race. from wet to dry, dry to wet. It was very up and down. People were unsure about which tires to go on, and the amount of driving talent this IndyCar field has to use their skill and power to keep the cars from going out of control, which some of them did go out of control. This has to be one of the wildest races I've seen in the history of me watching the IndyCar Series. In my opinion, I still think the 2014 Houston Grand Prix Race 1 is the wildest race. Next up for the IndyCar Series is the preparations for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500. Practice will start this week, and then this weekend will be qualifying, then all the festivities leading up to May 29, 2022 for the 106th running of the Indy 500. Thank you for watching this recap of the GMR Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Please check out all of my variety of videos on the Spellgo YouTube channel, and as always, thank you for watching.